So language is very tricky, but metaphors are very interesting because metaphors make us understand images and not just words. So what power metaphors give us over ourselves or over language is that a metaphor is just a combination of words, but what it is communicating are images. So it's not simply what the words are saying, but it also what each words mean, right? What each word means when it is stacked together. That's what a metaphor is. For example, when we want to express that our life is not going great, we say that our life is in shambles. Well, nothing is in shambles, right? Not literally. But when we express this, other people know what we mean. When we say, oh, his business was destroyed. So we know it's not a building that is getting destroyed. And we understand what these metaphors mean. If you pay attention, like what great writers do, they write beautiful metaphors because they are not communicating using words. They're communicating using imagery. They write something and it's not just what they are telling you. They write something and it unfolds in your head based on your own psyche, based on the metaphors they use, for instance. So metaphors are a beautiful way to think about life, and metaphors are a beautiful way to communicate with others. Metaphors are a beautiful way to understand yourself, and metaphors are very beautiful when it comes to understanding the world. And end of the day, if you're understanding the world, you're also understanding yourself, right? Because that's how things work. And I wanted to make a video on the most beautiful metaphor that I can think of, and it's the metaphor of moon. Now, I think it was some essay by Schopenhauer where he talks about love, and he said that he mentions some other poet, and this other poet said that love seems to be like a ghost because everybody's writing about it, but nobody has ever seen it. And Schopenhauer believes that love is real because poets have written about it, right? That was his argument. And I remember thinking that, okay, I mean, he believes love is real because poets have written about it, right? I understand. Great artists have written about it. They have expressed it with their metaphors. There might be some truth to that. Understandable. It led me to think about Moonlight. It led me to think about Chandni, for example, not the neighbor. And what happened to me was that Chandni doesn't exist. It's not the moon's light. There is no light of the moon. What moon does is it reflects the sun's light. So the source is different, but it presents a beautiful illusion. Now, what illusion can really, not illusion, but what beautiful metaphor can moonlight be, right? So during the day, everything is chill, right? We can see everything. You can metaphorically think about it as conscious. So during the day, everything is visible. We know what is where. We are aware, right? That's why it's conscious. But then evening comes and the sun sets. The light of our life, the light is gone, right? So then what happens? Is the light really gone? No. It gets reflected off of the moon and then it reaches us. We have used moon for many things. For example, to understand what the time is or to understand the directionalities of things. So we wanted to reach a particular place, we would follow moon, for instance, right? Moon also has this other metaphor, like if you're chasing the moon, then the moon is going to go up and then it's going to set down and then it's going to come back again. So cycle of life, right? Another metaphor for moon. But in these teachings, right, all of these teachings are illusory because to sit and look at the moon and look at it as the light at the end of the tunnel because it shines at night and it makes things visible, what's going to happen is we are not acknowledging the real source of light, the sun, right? Also think about it from a projection perspective. When we go out and we see lights of other people, the way we look at moon and we see moonlight, right? We look at the light of other people. Is it really their own, or are we projecting our own psyche onto them? Another question is, can we really see anything that is not us? Think about how an object appears in consciousness. You see an object and you see an object and the object, you just don't see the object as it is. The object manifests itself in your head. So, for example, there was this beautiful example given by Jordan Peterson. He said that imagine that you've signed up for a job, you gave an interview, you did a lot of hard work, and then finally you get the envelope that has the offer, like whatever letter, right? Like it's either a rejection letter or you just got in. Imagine like you are working hard at your job and you get some kind of letter, right? That letter, before you open it, is just potential. You don't know if, are you getting promoted, are you getting accepted by the company, are you getting fired? You have no idea. And all the hard work you did before, you can't put a label on that either, because if you get fired, then all the work you did is bullshit, right? But then if you get promoted, the same work is amazing, but you just don't know. And what this leads us to think is that the envelope is not just an envelope, right? You look at an envelope, it's an object, but you don't see it as a collection of atoms, or you don't see it as some form of paper, but it is a portal to some future that that you want to have, or a future that you want to avoid. And the future you want to have and the future you want to avoid, both are in the unknown right now before you open the envelope. And as soon as you'll open the envelope, you will know what your past was, and you will know what your future is going to be. So the object is never what it appears to be. It simply is a projection of our own psyche onto the object. So when we go out and we see people, just the way we look at the moon, and we look at the moon and we see its light and we go, okay, that is moonlight. Why is it called moonlight? Because we believe it's moon's light. But it's illusory. The light is not of moon. Just like when we look at people and we see their light, it is not their light. The source is somewhere else. So when it comes to the moon, the source is the sun. When it comes to other human beings, what is the source? Are we the source? Is our psyche the source? We can also think, is our conditioning the source? And I think it is. The real source of light is somewhere else. The real source of light is not the people themselves. The real source of light is what is seeing those things. And by what, it doesn't mean that you are seeing those things, right? Because what is you there? But imagine it from a Jungian perspective, right? Imagine that, okay, till personal unconscious, we can say it's you, right? I mean, he also believed that collective unconscious also is kind of like the all unconscious, all conscious comes together and forms the bigger self. If I'm inaccurate, let me know. Forms the bigger self. But then you look at collective unconscious and it's not really personal, is it? Collective unconscious is crazy. Collective unconscious is like throughout the earth, every single human being is going to have like similar patterns of dreams, and they're going to have same types of gods, and they are going to have like a god of thunder, for example, god of rain, ya fir god of earth. Why are these similar patterns there, right? That does prove that there is something beyond the personal unconscious. But now imagine that collective unconscious influences your consciousness, because that collective unconscious is trying to do something to your consciousness. It just wants to take over it, right? Because that is where your shadow is, and shadow is trying to express itself. But then the persona we have in our consciousness, and by persona I mean like the personality we put forth in front of society or in front of others, because we want to feel accepted. And shadow is every part of ourselves that we shut down because we don't want that side to be out. Take an example of somebody who's a very nice person, right? Somebody who is very cute, and somebody who likes to please people, somebody who can't say no, somebody very affiliative. I am a people's person, right? One of those people. And if you really pay attention to them, man, they are full of aggression. You really talk to them deeply and you understand this person feels defeated all the time, because this person either cares about the other person too much, or this person just wants to be harmless because this person feels that it doesn't want to hurt other people. But these people have a lot of aggression. So you look at them and then you understand that the persona is that I am a nice person. I don't hurt anybody. That is the persona they are putting forth because they want to feel socially accepted, want to be part of the group, right? But what are the parts they are hiding? They're hiding that aggression. And why are they hiding that aggression? Because being aggressive is bad. Why are they hiding that violence inside of them? Anger. Why? Because if you're angry, you are a bad person, right? So they try to hide that just so they feel accepted by other people so they can conform. But here's the trick. What should we do then? Right? Should we maintain persona? What should we do? We should integrate our shadow. That's what Jung says. And how do we integrate our shadow? First of all, practically speaking, right? Like if somebody is a person's person and they have this aggression inside of them, like what is that aggression gonna bring to them? And the answer is this, right? When they try to experience the aggression in themselves and they try to communicate that aggression bit by bit, little by little, they will find evidence that this aggression can be used effectively to set boundaries, for example, to ask for what they want. Why? So they can be less aggressive in the future. So they actually become less of that horrible aggressive by being little aggressive. And what are they doing there? They're giving their shadow a voice and they are bringing their shadow out a little bit. And this is how they integrate their shadow. Now, it's not this easy, but I can't be talking about 4 hours because people won't listen to this shit. But they might as well, who knows. But here's the thing. You look at the moon and you believe in moonlight, right? But it's illusory. Now what you do is you look at other people and what do you see? You see your own psyche. You don't see other people, you see yourself, because other people are manifesting themselves just the way that envelope did in your head. I think everybody knows, right, that Jung quote that what irritates us about other people tells us a lot about ourselves. That is what it means. So moon is illusory. And the idea is simple that, and again, like look at it from shadow integration perspective, right? The light inside of you, well, once we look at human beings and we start to differentiate or we start to understand and create this understanding that it's not other people's light that we are seeing, but it's our own, only then we can dissolve this weird like all the identities that we have attached to ourselves and all those identities that limit us, because we won't be differentiating between other people and us, right? The world won't be differentiated in us versus them, but it's just us. There is just one consciousness. That is what it means. Because when you cannot really perceive other people for who they are, but you can only perceive other people for what they trigger inside of you and then make a sense out of it, it just simply means that there is only one thing. And that one thing is not an identity that you have. For example, the persona you have, you got to dissolve those persona and you got to bring and integrate your shadow, because being a harmless person is not a good idea to live life. It's a horrible idea to live life. And there is this amazing lyric in Reflection by Tool where he says that, so crucify the ego before it's far too late and leave behind this place so dark and cynical, and you will come to find that we are all one mind, capable of doing all that's inconceivable. It's a great lyric. And that's how you do it. That's how you leave this, cage. That's how you leave this dark place. It's by dissolving our personas and dissolving our identities. And how do we do that? Well, we look at the moon and we say, okay, the moonlight is an illusion because it's the sun's light. All right. And then we look at other people and we go, okay, what does this bring to us? What do we think about other people? Okay. Oh, what we think about other people is our own psyche. Oh, shit. No difference between me and them. Why? Because it's the same thing. It's one. It's unity, right? And that's going to be our idea for today. I don't know how long this video is, but please like and comment. I heard somewhere that you have to do this. You have to do some kind of CTA, and that leads people to do that shit. But it's going to help. It's going to help a little bit.